This headband keeps slipping. Ugh. Apply a couple of drops. Little swoop, swoop-de-doop. I guess my eyebrows decided they didn't want to be related today. They wanted to not even be in the same bloodline. Hey guys, welcome to today's video. Thank you so much for coming back to my channel. If you are already a subscriber, if you are a new subscriber, don't forget to subscribe because I do post videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So for today's video, we're going to be doing a bronzy look. I'm going to be using browns and bronzes, and we're going to have bronzy skin, and we're going to have a golden highlight. It's going to look super pretty, so keep on watching. So I already moisturized my skin and my under eyes off camera, so we're going to just go ahead and jump into the priming of the eyes. So I always start one eye at a time. So for today, we're using the Prime and Lock Makeup Revolution eyeshadow primer. And we're going to go ahead and start. So I just apply it quite generously. So we're going to go ahead and blend that in with the Morphe M173 eyeshadow brush. It's a really dense, small version of a kabuki. And I just like to make sure that everything is nice and blended in. And I'll go in back and forth with my finger, just because with my finger I can kind of feel where there is still like a lot of product. And then I'll go in my under eye. So now that we have all of that blended in, we're going to actually go ahead and go in with one of my favorite palettes, which is the Jeffree Star Blood Sugar palette. So good. And we're gonna go in with the shade Glucose to set everything into place. So I do like to set all the way to about the temples of my face because I tend to bring the eyeshadow out sometimes. So today I'm not sure if I'm gonna do that, but I do like to be prepared. And I do set my inner corner and a little bit under my eye. So we're gonna go ahead and jump into the crease shade. So I'm gonna use Ouch from the Jeffree palette, which is this shade right here. So I went ahead and just packed a little bit on my brush, and then we dust off a little bit of the excess, and I just place it kind of sparingly, just right above where my crease is. Because I do have hooded eyes, I do like for my eyeshadow to stand out. So I don't know if you can see, when I open my eyes, my crease is right about here. But I apply the eyeshadow right above here because I do have all of this space right here in between my brow and my crease. So if you have hooded eyes, that's a really good trick for you to be able to see the eyeshadow. So I do try to focus most of the shadow right on my crease right here in this area. So whenever I dip into the eyeshadow pan, I really make sure that I place it right here, and then I'll apply it, and then I'll go ahead and blend out because we are going to blend all of this harsh right here with a different lighter shade. So once we have our crease shade on, I'm actually going to go ahead and take a shade from the Thirsty palette by Jeffree, which is this one right here, which is actually discontinued, which is so sad because this palette is absolutely beautiful. So we're going to go in with Subtle right here, this shade, and I'm going to mix it with a little bit of Parched. Okay, so now you guys can see that that looks way more blended. It looks a lot more flawless, which is the goal always for eyeshadow. So today we're going to jump into the Warrior 2 palette by Juvia's, and we're actually going to take this brown right here, and I'm going to pack it in with the Morphe M506. What I like to do whenever I'm packing on darker shades to the outer corner, I like to just pack the shade on one side of the brush so that I can just work with that one side, and then I can flip it over and blend out with the other side. That's a really good time-saving trick, so you don't have to go back and forth between two different brushes. So I'll press it in first to really mark where I want it, and then I'll go back in and blend it. So I lay down the shadow kind of where I like it, and then I like to go back and apply just a little bit just above my crease. So now that I have the deeper brown placed where I want it, I will go back in with the same brush that I used for the Ouch shade, and I don't put any additional product, but I go ahead and just blend the dark shade out just to make sure everything looks seamless. And then if you feel like you need to add a little bit more of the first shade, then you can go ahead and do so. Now we're gonna jump into the lid shade. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and go back in with the Makeup Revolution Prime and Lock eyeshadow primer to cut my crease, and I'm gonna use this Morphe M224 brush. So I take a little bit of the primer just on the back of my hand, and then I pack it onto the brush like this. And what I like to do first is I like to place the primer right on my lid. I look up, and then it'll kind of give me a guide to where when my eyes are open, you'll still be able to see the shade because I do have hooded eyes. I'll bring it out a little bit, and then I'll just start, instead of applying it like this, I'll switch to the very tip of the brush, and then I'll just start flicking it out. Okay, so I don't know if you can see how it looks very blended and very nice. And I just make sure that everything is nice and set and that there's no creases. So today we're gonna put the shade Donor on our lid, which is this pretty bronze shade right here from the Jeffree Blood Sugar palette. And I like to pack a pretty generous amount of the shade. I'm gonna scoot up a little bit just so you guys can see. And that's why I do my eyeshadow first, because I know that packing on a lot of the color onto the brush is gonna create fallout. So here I just press it on, and then you can see it just applied already, very pretty. And then I continue doing the same thing, keeping the pressing motion. That'll also reduce any fallout, and actually I have very little fallout. I don't know if you can see. It'll also give you the most vibrancy of the shade. Ooh, that is so pretty. So I'm just gonna go back in and continue to work on the eye. So once I'm happy with the way that it looks, which I am pretty happy with it right now, I go ahead and go back with the Morphe M506, which is this little brush that we use for the outer corner, and I'll go back in with just a little bit more eyeshadow just to intensify it and blend everything in. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with how this looks, but I think I want to add just a little bit more like pizzazz to the eye, and I'm going to go back in with the Thirsty palette from Jeffree, and we're going to go ahead and take this shade Plunge, which is this shade right here. I'm just going to apply it on my finger, so it's actually like more of a glitter. See, it's kind of the same shade, it's a little bit more reflective, so I think I want to add that onto the lid. Oh yeah, I like that a whole lot better. I don't know if you can tell. It just added a little bit more shine. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and work on my other eye off camera, and then we'll be right back. So now that we have both eyes done, we're actually gonna jump into the under eye. So I don't know why I never did this before, and I always struggled with fallout whenever I already had my concealer and base done. But then I saw a video and I was like, oh my god, why don't I do my under eye first? So I started doing my under eye first, and then I'm able to clean up and cut everything with the concealer once I'm done and I get to my base. So I'm going to go ahead and jump in with cream eyeliner, and we're going to use two shades today. So I'm going to use the shade Call Me and the shade Get Paid in the ColourPop Cream Gel liners. These are very creamy. They're so good. So I'm going to start by applying the dark brown shade on the outer half of my eye. So I apply right at the base, and I make sure that I connect it to the right, like at the ending of my eyelid, and I just bring it in. And then I do like to go heavy and run it down just a little bit. And then I'm going to go in with this bronzy shade on the inner half of the eye. So we're going to go back in with this middle brown shade and set the eyeliner, and then we'll go back in with the black just to intensify it. Okay, so that actually looks about how I like it. And then we're going to take the same brush, just a clean one of course. And we're gonna go in with the bronzy shade right in here. So then I'm gonna go ahead and take this flat definer brush by Morphe. It's the M410, and this is the one I'm gonna use to apply the black, and I'm just gonna apply it right on my waterline. That pretty much is the end of the eyes. I'm gonna go ahead and prime and apply my base off camera, and then I'll come back in for bronzer and blush. Okay, so while my bake is still on, I'm actually gonna go in my under eye and blend out this harsh line a little bit. That way if I have any fallout, I'll be able to sweep it away with the bake. And we're just gonna go back into the Juvia palette, and I'm gonna go into this shade and just apply it as a diffuser. So I actually like a very, very diffused under eye just because I feel like it adds to that sultriness and sexiness of this look. So after I finish with my under eye, I go ahead and take my Maybelline Fit Me powder. I use the shade 110. I'll kind of apply the powder in a stamping motion where I don't have bake. So just like that. And I especially bring it down my neck. And then my forehead. And then I'll wipe the bake. So for bronzer, we're actually going to use my favorite bronzer at the moment, which is the Fenty Sunstalker bronzer in Shady Biz. It's this nice, pretty neutral color. Whenever I do bronzy looks, I do like to use my brush loosely like this. Normally, I would pinch the handle down and I would apply it so that it's a sharp line. But I do want to look bronzy all over, so I kind of just start by applying it loosely, and I make sure to keep it at the end of my face, and then I bring in whatever's left over. And I'll apply a generous amount because I do want to look super bronzy. I want everything to look cohesive. And then I go ahead and I hit my forehead, and then we cannot forget the double chin, because as much as I'd like for it to go away, I'm stuck with it permanently. And I like to hit extra right here in this area, because this area actually kind of droops down. So this is where I'll pinch it, and I'll just apply a little bit more so that in pictures it looks nice and chiseled. And I will pinch it to hit my nose. So then for blush, we're going to go in with the Origins Beach Day blush. This is my favorite blush of all time. It is discontinued. I think it's been discontinued for like 4 or 5 years. So I try not to use it often so that it will last me. And then I'm going to go in with this dough color blush brush, and I'm just going to tap it like 2, 3, 4 times. Okay, that was 4 times. And then I start by patting it in on the outer part of my cheek, just so I can get the most color application there. And then I'll go ahead and just lightly bring it in. So after I finish my face, I go ahead and jump into eyebrows, but I'm actually going to do my eyebrows off camera because I am going to be posting a video soon on Eyebrows 101. So we'll be right back. Okay, so my brows are on, and all I did was go ahead and hit my brow bone and my inner corner with the Fenty Beauty highlighter in Hustle Baby. So now we're going to go ahead and just set the skin. So I'm going to set my skin with the coconut setting spray from Beauty Creations, and on top of that I'm going to go ahead and add the Morphe by Morphe and Jeffree Star setting mist. So we're going to start the highlighter by applying a little bit of Hustle Baby. We're just going to apply a light coat. Normally I like a really strong highlight, which we are going to do today, but I'm going to just create a base first. So you'll be able to see it just a little bit. I don't want it too intense. And then for the rest of my face, I am going to hit it a little bit harder, just because I'm not going to put the second step on my forehead or my nose. And then with my finger, I put it a little bit on the tip of my finger, and I just position it right where I want it. And then I'll go back in and blend it out. So next we're gonna go in with the Cover FX glitter drops. It's in the shade Mirage. Ooh. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna apply it on the back of my hand and then just kind of tap a little bit on my finger. You have to be very careful with these glitter drops because if you apply it hard, it'll actually remove what you have underneath, and then it won't look, you know, nice and highlighted. It'll actually look kind of gray because it's mixing in with your foundation. So I'm gonna actually scoot in a little bit and very lightly, and then with my other finger just blend it. And then just keep going back and forth and you blend it to your liking. Y'all see that? So pretty. So I don't know if you guys can tell, but I actually went back and applied a little bit more. So it looks nice like this, but then I don't know if you can see right here. Remember how I told you guys that it goes a little gray? Okay, so I applied a little too much. I always do that. I get very happy, very highlighter excited, and then I applied more and it started to mix and I was like, no, but for the picture, it'll still look good. So now we're gonna jump into lashes. So today we're gonna use the Double Wispies by Ardell, my favorite, absolute favorite lash ever in the entire world. So I took the eyelash out of the package, and then what I like to do before I apply glue is just bend it a little bit. That way it's a little more shape to my eye. And then you wanna measure. I know that these fit me, but just for the sake of the video, you wanna measure and make sure that they start here and end right about here. You don't want your lashes to come all the way to the inner corner. You kind of want them to sit right about there. And then I go ahead and pull them off. So right now we're going to use the House of Lashes lash glue, and this is the clear one. They have a clear and they have a black one. So I just apply a pretty nice heavy coat. And then I grab my other lash and do the same thing. Then I have both lashes with glue. I let them chill out in the side for about 30 seconds, 20-25 seconds, just so that the glue gets tacky, and then we go ahead and we apply. Okay, so it's pretty much almost tacky, so you'll be able to see it a little bit, but it's not as white. So what I like to do is, if y'all can see, I like to set it down right on the center. Right on the center of the lash, and then I grab the end and I make sure that I line it up. Let me turn a little bit more. Line it up right with the edge of my eye, and then I clamp down. I clamp down on the lashes just to make sure that they're as close to my lash line, right on top of my lashes, so that they look more natural. So I'll open up my eye like this. Oh my gosh. Clamp, clamp. And with the tweezer, I'll push in to make sure that it's on there. And then from here, I'll grab the front and same thing, make sure that it's really close to my lash line. And then once I can see that they're applied pretty close, I'll go in with my fingers and just press them down to fuse them with the mascara. So you should have something like this. I'm getting as close as possible, but you can see that it's really blended into my lash line. You can barely tell where my natural lashes start and where these end. So that is my favorite way to apply lashes. So I'm going to go ahead and apply this eye off camera, and then we'll come back for the lippy and for the closing of this video. Alright guys, so that is the end of today's video. For lippy, I decided to apply the Jeffree Star liquid lipstick in Leo and the Fenty Beauty lip gloss in Fenty Glow. I think this combination is very pretty, and I wanted to keep it kind of monochromatic. But thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe this video, and don't forget to comment down below a future video that you would like to see. And yeah, that is it guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you back in my next video, which will be up on Wednesday. I hope you guys have a beautiful day, and I hope you had a beautiful Easter. See you guys in my next video. Bye! Could this be water? Could Could this be lemonade? Could this be alcohol? Could this be just vodka? We don't know. Alright guys, so that is the end of today's video. Ugh.